Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary. Pour a cheerful toast and fill it, happy anniversary. But be careful you don't spill it, happy anniversary. Oh, happy anniversary.
That's right, Charlie. It is our 1-year anniversary show right here on Inside Wrestling Radio. And the Flintstones bringing us in, Charlie, with a happy anniversary song. Happy anniversary to you, my friend.
Happy anniversary. Glad we've made it our first official full year. We've covered a lot.
Can you believe, personally, I didn't even realize it until this week. I was rooting around through some old posts I did up on the Regal board there and realized that this is the 1-year anniversary. Now, of course, we started on Saturday
right.
a year ago, or actually a couple of days from now, but since we've moved to Fridays, this is actually the anniversary show. We have been here 1 year, Charlie, and I, for one, am astounded.
Yeah, I can't believe we pulled it off this long. Well, I mean, it's been great.
I can't believe you made it a year without me tossing you through that window over there.
You've thought about it.
And at the very beginning, of course, and nothing's changed, by the way, people. I know I don't carry on about it as much as I used to. By the way, the overlord of the wasteland right here with you, the star of the show, the big boss with the hot sauce, Ricky Regal, and, of course, his sidekick, Charlie Lane. It is Inside Wrestling Radio. It is our 1-year show. But, yeah, Charlie, I'm surprised that I haven't gotten you fired because I did try really hard, but I guess I gave up on it a little bit. But my new commitment, the second year of Inside Wrestling Radio, is to be Charlie Lane free. That's my commitment to you, fans. So
ain't happening.
Well, it's going to happen eventually. So anyway, been through a lot of changes this year, Charlie. A lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff happened on this program, man. Going back to those great interviews we've done. And we've only really missed a couple of weeks of having new interviews on. A couple of weeks, of course, we had some cancellations and different things. But but yeah, man, fresh shows every week. We've not missed a week is doing a new show, weekly programming, man. And it's been a grind, bro. But I tell you what, and I said this to somebody on Facebook the other day, it's been tough. And with our real life gigs, man, it's been a lot of scheduling changes of actually when we record some of this stuff. But man, it's been a labor of love, and I wouldn't take anything for this very program. And I thank so much to WLBG and programming director and manager Emma Finley for allowing us to be here, and all the staff here at WLBG. We don't tell you guys enough, but we greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate you letting us do this program. I know we've been a pain in you guys' neck, and I'm sure the long distance bills will attest to that.
Oh yeah.
But thank you guys so much here at WLBG for letting us be a part of the station here, and for letting us do our program. Charlie, you got any thoughts?
Oh, I just agree with everything you said. I appreciate what they've allowed us to do, and like you said, a lot of things over the year we've had good and bad, and we've covered a lot of stuff, and we've given a lot of people a lot of chances to get a voice out they normally wouldn't have.
That's right.
Now, and on our 1-year anniversary show, I believe that we're going to do J.D. Costello, our very first interview.
We are going to replay the very first interview. Now, this is a 2-part interview, and I'm not going to play both parts of it because next week we've got a really interesting interview that I want everybody to hear. But this week will be part 1 of the very first interview we did with J.D. Costello right here on this program. He talks about some interesting things, and I think even a year later, 1 year removed from that interview, I still think there's some very interesting facts that a lot of people may not be aware of. So for those of you who missed it, and as for a little bit of a congratulations to ourselves, we're going to play the very first interview we ever did right here on Inside Wrestling Radio with J.D. Costello, and that's coming up a little bit later in the show. Charlie, big news coming out of indie stuff, especially right here locally. We got a lot of news national. A lot of people heard up in the Big Two. Got an update on Scott Hall. All kinds of stuff coming up in today's show, Charlie. But right now, you got something you need to tease for next segment. What's going on?
Oh, yes, I do. We're going to get in contact with Norton Lewis here at the beginning of the next show. He's going to cover some big changes coming out of NCW. He's kind of alluded a little bit to it on the NCW site as well as his own Facebook site. So you're not going to want to miss that. I'm going to let him cover it so y'all know it's true. Also, some big changes with NCW, and this is the first year there's been some changes at the Athletic Commission that I'm going to talk about here in the next segment that I have learned about as well that might be interested to some of the wrestlers out there.
Very cool. Charlie Lane stepping up his game in year 2 of Inside Wrestling Radio, bringing some breaking news of his own to this program. I'm proud of you, boy. You're learning from the master over here and starting to bring in some good stuff for us. I appreciate that. But, yeah, you mentioned Norton's Facebook page, man. I was reading that thing, I think it was yesterday. or day before, and he alluded to that there may be some wrestling going away in Greenville. And it kind of broke my heart a little bit. I ain't had a chance to call the guy because I got a lot going on, in my real life gig and all that stuff. But it was on my agenda to call him. So I'm glad you're bringing him on the program today. This was done without my knowledge, Charlie. Usually I book all the guests. So you doing this really means it must be something huge for you to put your name behind it and to bring somebody on the program. So Norton Lewis coming up next segment, correct?
That is correct.
Very cool. We don't have any results from NCW from last week, Charlie. You said they didn't run a show. Is the reason Karen didn't hit us last week, but she didn't hit us again this week. So I don't know if that means that they missed 2 weeks up there, or did she just forget us this week?
I think she just forgot us. I think last week she forgot us, and this past week they didn't run.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. I got you. All right, Charlie. We're up on a break already, if you can't believe that. Up on a break already. We'll get back. I'll talk about Old School Championship Wrestling, a show coming up there, and we'll get Norton Lewis on the phone, and we'll talk about what's going on up in NCW. All that coming up next right here on Inside Wrestling Radio.
All right, here we are back on Inside Wrestling Radio, and it is our birthday. It is our 1 year anniversary. And we have got a lot going on today.
Charlie doing his mix master stuff over there. As you can see, as you hear Charlie's talking slow, that means his brain's working too hard and he can't think and do 2 or 3 things at once. So that's why Charlie's talking so slow right now. But yeah, man, it's the 1 year anniversary show. We've been here a year, believe it or not. And I know the haters wish we would go away. And I hope that our fans are wishing us very many more years, because I certainly am. I enjoy doing this, man, and this has been a thrill this last year to do it. Don't forget, a little bit later in the show, we got our first interview with J.D. Costello coming up. Charlie, I know we got a guest on the phone, so I want to get to him really quickly, because there's a lot of stuff I need to know from him. But before that, real quick, Charlie, Old School Championship Wrestling, who we talk about here from time to time, on Sunday in Hanahan at the Recreational Gym has a big show coming up with Reed Flair versus the Man Scout Jake Manning, and John Schuyler versus Bob Keller in a hair versus career I Quit match. So that'll be some good wrestling going on Sunday in Hanahan, South Carolina with OSCW. But right now on the telephone, welcome to the program, good friend of mine and good friend of this very program, Norton Lewis. Norton, how you doing, brother?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. And, hey, let me congratulate you guys. Man, it is a pleasure and an honor for me to be on your 1 year anniversary show. I finally made it in the business, man.
Hey, man, thanks so much for coming on. We greatly appreciate it. And I talked to you, I guess, a couple of weeks ago, had you here for my special guest. And again, man, like I said, it never fails. Norton Lewis is a workhorse for this program. Every time I call his number, he answers, and he don't mind coming. He drops what he's doing, Charlie, to come on this program. And
right.
Again, I cannot thank you so much. Charlie actually booked you this week, which I alluded to in the very first segment here. The first time Charlie's ever booked a guest, so there must be some big news coming out, and I'm assuming it comes from something that come off of your Facebook page that I read, I guess, a couple of nights ago now, that wrestling may be going away in the Greenville, South Carolina area. Norton, please, brother, tell me it ain't true.
Well, to be honest with you, a lot of people don't understand how the inner workings of NCW works.
Yeah.
And I do have a board of directors that have sat down and told me, Norton, we're not making the money in Greenville that we need to make to keep this going.
Wow.
So you may have to take this show to a different location or either put on the road.
Wow,
and
really?
So we're looking at all our options to do that. I've every much just as pretty much as everything is beg the fans. Point blank. I look at our product and I look at other products, and I don't see anybody any better.
No.
There may be some other people out there spending more money on the show, but our product is out there entertaining people every time we're in the ring.
Yes, absolutely.
And for people, I actually had a person tell me it ain't worth $10 to come see an NCW show, and you know what? I almost had a heart attack.
Yeah.
Because they'll spend $50 to sit in the nosebleed section of the Bilo Center or anywhere else and watch a bunch of people talk to them.
Yeah.
And you know what? If I want to see that, I can turn on CNN for free.
Absolutely.
And to think that people don't want to support a company that has that with all the stuff we do in the community. We raise money for the Shriners. We do 2 or 3 different shows at Christmas time so that kids can get toys for Christmas.
Yeah.
And it just more than anything, it's almost a a slap in the face, and it hurts that people, would say, well, we'll go do this or we'll go do that, And I don't know what it is. People tell me it's the economy and it's this, that, and the other. Whatever it is, we got to make money to stay open as a company, and we're going to do whatever it takes to protect ourselves.
Okay, so just to clarify, NCW is not shutting down, yes?
No, we will not be shutting down.
Okay.
We may be changing locations. We may be changing, venues, and doing some shows on the road. But no, we will not be shutting down. We just may not be in Greenville all the time.
And what kind of time frame are you looking at for this change?
From what the board of directors has told me, we got to the end of June to make changes, or either they're going to make them for me, And so we're going to do what we got to do to, make something happen by the end of June.
Now they're talking about making changes for you. Are you talking about talent cuts? Are you talking what specifically can you? I know you can't say much because I know there's probably contractual things, but vaguely just going around the subject. Are you talking about talent cuts? You talking about moving places? What are you talking about?
Maybe their biggest thing is maybe moving venues.
Okay.
They think that if we move to a different location, or maybe only ran Greenville 2 weekends out of the month and was on the road the rest of the time,
Gotcha.
Maybe it would make a difference. And I'm up to doing whatever it takes to, to do whatever it is to make NCW successful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to see it go by the wayside, because the guys have really, really, for the last 2.5, 3 years, busted their butts to put on a great show every time they're in the ring, and it just seems like it's just getting harder and harder.
Absolutely, Norton. We got about 30 seconds here, and we may have to hold you over because Charlie's got something he's got to talk to you about too. So can you come back with us next segment and talk to us a little bit more?
Oh yeah, no problem. Okay.
At all right, cool. We got we're all the way out of time for this segment, Charlie, aren't we? We got
yeah.
All right, we're out of time. When we get back from the break, we're going to hold Norton Lewis over. That would normally be the national segment. We're going to hold him over. We're going to talk more about this breaking news coming out of NCW, and Charlie's got some things he needs to talk to Norton about as well. All that coming up right here next on Inside Wrestling Radio.
All right, here we are back for segment 3 of Inside Wrestling Radio, and because of time and wanting to get all this information out with NCW and all their breaking news, we gonna kind of cut into national news a little bit.
Yeah, changing up the game a little bit, Charlie, on the big 1-year anniversary show. This is a different kind of show today, Charlie. We're celebrating our anniversary here, and I noticed you fell down on your DJing jobs. You didn't bring us in with any fresh cut this time, so I'm
saving that for the end.
Saving it for the end, okay. Oh yeah, because you know what? I forgot to mention it is also Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why all this breaking news and different things are going on. It's just a different kind of day here on the program and a different show. But again, our 1-year anniversary. And before we went to break, we were talking to Norton Lewis of NCW about some things going on up in Greenville. And Charlie, you wanted to talk to Norton about something, so I'm gonna give it to you, man. Do your thing.
All right. Basically, Norton, I'm kind of teasing a little bit, and I didn't want to spill the beans on this. I'll let you do it so people will know it's for real, not think I'm making up something trying to get myself over. There's been some stuff you and I have talked about with NCW. You care to elaborate on that for me?
Oh yeah, that's since the event that we did with the Shriners down there in Lawrence, Charlie and I had talked a lot about it, and I've always kind of been behind the scenes helping Charlie and stuff as much as I could, and we've pretty much decided to go into a partnership. And just try to take and do everything we can to keep NCW rolling and help Charlie with as many shows there in Lawrence County as we can, and let's just see where we can go with this. And it really made it a whole lot easier with the things I've been getting from the board of directors. There's some things they can control me on and some things they can't. And they can't control me on if I decided to sell the whole thing. That there's nothing they can say about it.
Right.
So we're just looking to do whatever we can to get us bigger and better, really.
Yeah. And I'll just say, when I talked to Norton about it and he and I were covering it, it really made things better for both myself and him, because he's got the established building and the place to run, and some talent that I can bring that will fit in with him, and of course his talent will fit in with what I'm doing. But I've got that ring and mobile sound system, so it makes it easier for him to go do shows in other places if he so chooses.
Big changes coming, sounds like, for both SCW and NCW. And what do you guys? So will it be tri-branded? Dual-branded shows, or will it all be under the NCW banner, or have you guys even thought that far ahead yet?
I don't think we've actually made a decision on that yet. It may be, you know, and it really doesn't matter how we go with it. I mean, we can call it ABC for all I care.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, we just want to do what's best for us and the guys that we've, you know, spent a lot of time, you know, developing and working with, and the guys that are, you know, actually that deserve for us to spend that time on them. You know.
Absolutely.
The other thing is I want to get to right quick before we get off here, because I don't know our time and everything.
Yeah, go ahead.
But now I heard that there was a certain loudmouth on your show last week running his mouth about me again.
He will not take the hint. Every time he comes on here, I guess he don't realize that you know the phone number and you have just as much access to this program as he does. But yep, you're right. He was on here last week and your name did come up, and I think there was some. And I don't even really know what it was about. Something about some guardrails. Do you care to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I don't mind doing that at all, because he keeps talking about something that I have that he says is his.
Yeah.
But when I bought the thing from Donovan Loftus sold me the guardrails. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I've talked to Donovan Loftus, Scotty Wren, J.C. Daz, everybody else, even the guy that picked them up and the guy that painted them. They told me that straight words out of Thomas Simpson's mouth was, I don't need these anymore. I ain't got nothing to do with the wrestling business. Not going to have to do, because I hate it now and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I'm giving them to you. And he told me straight out of Donovan Loftus' mouth, he gave them to me. So when he gave them to Donovan had the freedom to do whatever he wanted to with them after that.
Sure, yeah.
And so fact of the matter is, possession's 9/10 of the law.
Right.
And I'm possessing them, so do what you got to do.
Well, you know, it sounds to me like that his problem would be with Donovan instead of you. If Donovan made a deal that wasn't part of the deal that he had made with Thomas, then that should be something that he and Donovan should work out. It shouldn't have anything to do with you. You're a businessman. You just made a purchase.
You're exactly right. I just made a purchase, you know, and as far as I'm concerned, if he wants the guardrails back, my fee for storing them is $250 a month, and I've had them for over 2 years, so, you know, bring me the cash.
Just bring me a big fat roll, and we'll call it a day.
Yeah, we'll call it a day, and we'll be done. We don't have to fuss about it no more.
Fantastic. All right, so we're going to be looking for some more announcements coming out of NCW over coming weeks and months. Really quickly, do we have a show tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night's NCW Retribution.
Okay.
Main event, Crucifix will be facing an opponent of Lace's choosing because of the incident that happens, you know, back a month or two ago with the two of them.
Yeah.
NCW Tag Team Champions, or, you know, Team Honcho's going to put their belts on the line against, excuse me, I was terrible. I apologize.
That's okay.
Mike Madden and Boomer Payne. Spanky will defend his cruiserweight title against Matt Burns. Several other matches. Going to see a lot of guys like John Malice and Violence Incorporated. A lot more talent from the lower state going to be in. We're just going to look for a big show. We're going to blow it out.
Very cool. And that's tomorrow night at the NCW Arena. What's the address of that up there?
20 Cochran Drive, Greenville, South Carolina. Zip code 29611. If you want to put it in your GPS and see us there at 8 o'clock.
Very cool. Norton Lewis, thanks so much for coming on and give us that big update, and we'll be looking for more news for you. We got to get out of here, Charlie. We're out of time. We'll be right back here for more Inside Wrestling Radio with our very first interview with J.D. Costello coming up next, right here on Inside Wrestling Radio.
All right, there we are. Friday the 13th going on.
Yep.
And today is Friday the 13th, but
Charlie trying to scare our listeners off with that scary, that creepy music coming back in here representing Friday the 13th on our 1 year anniversary. Charlie just happens to fall on Friday the 13th. Welcome back to the program. We're short on time here, Charlie. I want to thank J.D. Costello. That was 1 year ago.
Yeah.
J.D. Costello. And if you want to hear the rest of that, it's up on our YouTube channel, of course, just like everything else we've ever done. YouTube.com/WrestleRadio860 is the rest of that interview, along with a bunch of other stuff. So good stuff up there. And thanks again to J.D. and thank you all for giving us a year here on the radio. Charlie, in the last few minutes we got, The reason we played the Friday the 13th music other than it is Friday the 13th is because we got a bunch of injuries. So I guess it's been Friday the 13th for a while up at WWE, Charlie.
Yeah. What they got?
Just this week, John Morrison announced on Twitter that he would be undergoing neck surgery. When he put it on Twitter, he didn't make any more specific announcements, but it came out later that he had a pinched nerve and that he would probably miss 4 to 6 weeks.
Wow.
Injuries there on his neck. Skip Sheffield, who you remember, the big muscle head from the original Nexus, he got his leg broken in Hawaii during a house show, and he posted this week on his Twitter account that things have been extremely complicated with the injury, and it was much more than just a broken ankle and leg. He said it's been the most positive experience of his life being with the WWE, and he promises you that his return, he will be bigger, badder than anything you've ever seen. And he's expected to return imminently. Charlie, also, The Undertaker is not expected to return to action before next year's WrestleMania due to all his injuries.
Man.
And the word around the WWE and word been going around the internet this week is he's basically considered retired by the WWE and will do one a year spots for the foreseeable future. We'll see how that pans out. And also, Charlie, this will break your heart. Alicia Fox suffered some kind of injury, shoulder injury this week when she took a stiff clothesline from Karma. So Karma going up there and knocking some chicks on their head, which is exactly what she needs to be doing. Really quickly, Charlie, Over the Limit pay-per-view coming up in a couple of weeks. I guess it's next week. I Quit match for the WWE title, John Cena versus The Miz. World Heavyweight title match, Randy Orton versus Christian. WWE Intercontinental title match, Wade Barrett versus Ezekiel Jackson. R-Truth versus Rey Mysterio. And Lawler versus Cole for the 13,423rd time. Charlie, also this week, let's see here what I want to do. Let me tell you this, Charlie, and this is kind of messed up. Brock Lesnar, who you remember, of course, from the WWE and now in UFC.
Right.
You remember a year or so ago, he had diverticulitis, which almost killed him. Mm-hmm. And he had to get out, and they said he was going to be, maybe not able to come back, may not even live. Well, he, of course, returned to the UFC, won a championship, and subsequently lost the championship. Well, he had a big fight coming up with Junior Dos Santos coming off of this season's Tough Enough program. And apparently, this is just breaking this week. Brock's diverticulitis has returned. He very well may need surgery, which would be a life-changing surgery and would possibly keep him out of action for more than a year. So the Dos Santos-Lesnar fight is off for right now, and Lesnar's future hangs in the balance. So that's terrible, man. I hope, wish Brock nothing but the best in his recovery. That thing's really got a hold of that kid, and you know, it's bad, man. It's bad all the way around. So yeah, good luck to Brock Lesnar, Charlie. Well, Charlie, we made it a year, bro. What you got to say, man? I mean, we're almost out of time here for this year-end edition. Oh, before I do that, though, I wanted to say there was an update this week on Scott Hall from Kevin Nash, and it's bad, man. Nash did a long interview on a radio program where he basically tried to clear the air, saying that he's done everything he can do. His wife, Scott Hall's wife, has pretty much given up. She sent the EMS over because Scott had mentioned he was ready to get help. When EMS arrived, he started throwing furniture at them and spitting at his ex-wife and said he don't want no help. He's ready for whatever to happen. So things not looking good for Scott Hall, man. I really, really hate that. Charlie, real quick, before we get out of here, don't forget we got all those new old videos up on our YouTube channel. A bunch of SCW classic shows and HVW Super Show Showdown from 9/8/2007 is up there as well. So go up there and make sure you check out our YouTube channel. Charlie, got anything last words?
Oh, the only thing is I think we've got a lot of great things coming out of Greenville and Lawrence and some of the other independent areas in next few weeks, months, and this next year is going to be very interesting.
Yep, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of changes happening. The commission, which I think the South Athletic Commission, will talk about that a little bit more next week. Some changes going on up there, which will affect everybody as usual. Man, a lot of interesting times in the indie world, Charlie. So stay right here with us, and you'll hear more about that in the coming weeks. Twitter.com/RussellRadio860, Twitter.com/RussellRadio860. Don't forget our Facebook page, Facebook.com/IWR860. that YouTube channel, that YouTube channel, Russell Radio 860 on YouTube, and 860wrestling@gmail.com is our email address. Thank you, Charlie, for a great year.
Thank you, Scott.
Hope to go.
Ricky.
Yeah, just go ahead and break kayfabe right here on the year-end show. Thank you for that. All right, we're out of here. We'll see you next week right back here on Inside Wrestling Radio.